Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Jersey Shore Pondscapes Videos. My name is Chris. I have a ton of videos here on this channel all about water gardens, koi ponds, aquatic plants, fish, pond filtration, troubleshooting, product reviews, tons of stuff here. Please use the playlists here on the channel to help navigate, find your way around. Hopefully you can find a video that can help you out, answer some questions for you, and help make your pond experiences a little bit better. I've been building koi ponds professionally for over 25 years. So I've put together this channel just to share with you some of the things I've learned, and again, hopefully try to help you out, answer some questions for you, and make your experiences just a little bit better. All right. I also have a website at pondscapesandmore.com where I have a ton of pictures and videos, different products, we talk about, and I have some blogs, some articles, all kinds of fun stuff, including a page called Ponds Around the World, which I really encourage you guys all over the world, send me a little picture of your pond. I know you're proud of your ponds. Send a little picture of your pond. Give me just a short little description of where you are and what your pond's about, and I will post it on that page to share with everybody, all my subscribers here on the channel. It's just going to be something really cool if we can build this up and be able to see what ponds look like in different parts of the world. So, I encourage you, send me that stuff. Here's the address here, my email you can send it to. That'd be really great. So, today's video, I want to talk to you about draining and cleaning a pond. So, if you guys have, my subscribers who have watched a lot of my videos, you probably know by now that I'm a big believer in bottom drains and gravity fed filter systems. And one of the reasons for that is that it's just such an efficient system that no debris and garbage really builds up in the ponds because it all goes right down the bottom drains and out to the filters. It's a very simple and effective system of keeping ponds clean and free of rotting, stinking material. However, a lot of my clients that I didn't build their ponds, have rock and gravel in the ponds. And over time they become all, dirty, full of algae and muck and sludge and all kinds of yucky stuff. And they call me to come and, clean it. So we drain and clean the ponds. And I kind of wanted to do a little video explaining to you how I do it and what we do and some things to think about and what you need to be aware of if you are going to drain and clean your pond. So I'm going to sit down here in a chair because I have a bunch of videos, pictures and stuff up here that I'd like to show you. So I don't want to stand in the way. So I just want to sit here and talk to you briefly and tell you some things and how I go about draining and cleaning a pond. Okay, so first off, let's talk about what kind of tools. What are we going to need to take on this project? Okay, number one, a sump pump. Okay, so we can pump the water out of the pond. Now there are different types of pumps, that can do this job. What you need to try to find is a pump that will pump very shallow water. Okay. Some pumps have like little feet on them and stuff that help hold it off at the bottom. And that's great for some things, but when it comes to draining the pond, we don't want to drain the pond down and have 3 inches of water left on the bottom that we can't get out. Okay, so having a pump that can pull water right from the very bottom of the pond is really a good thing. Also, we want to be careful of what kind of strainer is on the bottom of that pump, because you're going to be sucking in a lot of debris, leaves, sludge, muddy, dirty water, algae, all kinds of things. And if it has a really fine kind of screen, you're going to have to clean it a lot. So what you might want to do, actually, I've taken like a 5-gallon bucket. I've drilled a bunch of holes in the bottom of the bucket, and put my pump down inside that bucket, and it kind of helps to keep a lot of the sludge and leaves and stuff from getting sucked up into the pump and clogging the impeller or the strainer on the pump. It's kind of easier just to kind of wipe the side of the bucket clean where the holes are. Just a little thought there, okay? Also, there are pumps that are capable of passing solids. This is good too, okay? Just be careful if you have small fish in the pond and you're sucking all the water out, that the little fish don't get sucked out into the pump too, because as your water level drops, your fish kind of tend to look for places to hide, and around your pump and under the hose and stuff becomes an option for them. So you don't want to have little fish trying to hide around your pump and just get sucked up into the impellers, okay? So just be careful, with that kind of stuff. So you need a pump, right? A discharge hose, something 1.5 inch hose, 1.25 inch hose. I use a pool hose, they use for pool vacuums and stuff. It's like, 35, 40 feet long. It rolls up, it's flexible. You can attach, to a pump with a hose barb and a clamp. So we do that. You want to have maybe a shop vac, a nice heavy duty shop vac that you can, suck up some garbage and stuff on the bottom of the pond with. We use a power washer. I have 2 power washers. I have a big heavy duty monster power washer that can blow the grass right off the lawn, okay? But be careful, because you don't want something so powerful that it's going to damage the liner or anything like this. And certainly don't ever put your hand in front of that jet, because you're going to regret that. I actually use a small electric power washer that I got at Home Depot. It's just a small little unit. It has a nice head on it, on this spray, that actually spins around, and it produces a stream that spins, and it actually cleans. It's the best head ever. I actually have one of those heads that I bought for my big power washer as well. But just a light power washing, just to clean things up, knock some algae off the rocks, and clean things down is nice. You want to have a nice net to take the fish out of the pond with, and a nice holding tank that can safely handle the amount of fish that you have, and maybe have a netting cover on it if you have to leave the fish out for overnight or something while your pond is refilling. You may also want to have a bottle of dechlorinator. If you have city water, you're going to need that to put into the pond to eliminate any kind of chlorine and chloramines that may be in your tap water from the city, okay? That's pretty much it, okay? As far as tools go. Now, in your holding tank where you're putting your fish temporarily, you're going to need an aeration system. All right, you have to keep that aerated, especially if you have a lot of fish and you have larger fish, and especially if the water or the temperatures outside are warmer. You need to have an aeration system, an air pump going in that tank to provide, a nice boil of air in there to keep your fish, alive while you're cleaning out the pond. Okay. So basically, starting off, we're gonna drain the pond, okay? I do not try to catch the fish until I drain the water. It's really, really hard to catch fish when, the pond is full of water and they've got all this room to swim around and they're going in all different directions and all over the place. It can be very stressful chasing the fish around. I find it just easier to drain the pond down, and when you got 6, 8 inches of water left in the pond, and or whatever, a foot or less of water in the pond, it's much easier to go right down and then scoop them up and take them out, put them in your holding tank. So while you're pumping the water out of your pond, you should use that water to fill up your holding tank. okay? Now don't use a 5-gallon bucket, right? Don't use anything small. You can buy, especially like on Amazon, they have these nice holding tanks that are collapsible. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're going to spend some money on it. They could be, you know, $200 and something like this. But it's something that you can have. And if there's ever an emergency and you need to take your fish out, if you need to quarantine your fish or medicate some fish, you have a nice little tank. It folds up into a little bag and you can stick it in a shelf in your garage and it's, you know, out of the way. So they're really nice. For larger ponds with bigger fish, I have big collapsible show tanks, basically, that are, you know, 5-6 foot round. They have like a heavy vinyl material. There's PVC poles that uses feet and a PVC rim that goes all around the outside. You know, that's for, you know, heavy duty stuff, but those tanks are really expensive. I do have one. I use it a lot when I'm doing, you know, bigger ponds with bigger fish, and it has a nice net covering as well. So you know, just some ideas for you on that. But again, you know, drain the water down in your pond. Wait till, you know, the fish are easy to scoop up. It's much less stressful for them and you, and it goes fast because you can just go down with a big net, scoop them up, put them right in your tank, get another scoop, you know, put them in and collect them out that way. Once all your fish are out, and you get that water drained down, it's time to start washing, right? So you're going to leave the sump pump down in the lowest part of your pond. If you have rock and gravel in the bottom of the pond, again, try to find the lowest point. Move some of that rock and gravel out of the way because you don't want to be sucking gravel up into your pump. You're going to just destroy the impeller and clog things up really quick. It's going to jam up in there. So, you know, move some rock out of the way, put your sump pump down, you know, in the lowest spot you can, and just start washing down. Even just a nice nozzle on a spray on a water hose just to wash things down. And just go a section at a time and just wash everything down to the middle. If you're going to use the power washer to spray the rocks, you know, power wash things first. Once you have everything power washed, then take your hose and just rinse it all down, wash it down. Again, with rock and gravel in the bottom of the pond, it could take a lot of time. Okay, that definitely makes this whole process a little more complicated because you got to wash all the sludge, all the stuff through the gravel in the bottom of the pond down to your pump. All right. You're never going to get it 100% clean, okay? But try to get as much muck and settlement out of the pond as you can, so that it, you know, simply, you know, when you refill it, it's fresh, it's much cleaner. All right. Yeah, and as you're washing things down, you know, get a nice spray to go in between the rocks, and because, you know, if you have a bunch of rocks and stuff on shelves, mud and dirt's going to settle up behind it, so try to flush out as much you can. Not only wash down the face, but flush out as much as you can from in between the rocks and behind the rocks, and just get all that mud and stuff coming out to the point where you're, you know, flushing that water behind all your rocks, and, you know, it's clean water coming out. All right. Again, it takes some time. You know, that's one of the disadvantages of having a pond with rock and gravel in it compared to, like, the ponds I build with bottom drains that don't have rock and gravel in it. I don't have to drain and clean my ponds. There's nothing in the bottoms to clean. So, real advantage. So when I go to somebody's house, you know, to give them an estimate on draining and cleaning a pond, I got to look at what kind of rock and how much gravel and how dirty it is, because, you know, it's a lot of labor. And, you know, the more muck and sludge and gravel and boulders and rock and stuff in the pond that we got to move around and clean out under, you know, the more costly it gets, right? It's just more labor intensive. But it's not rocket science, right? It's really not rocket science. It just, you got to be thorough, clean as much as you can. Now, once you get the pond pretty much clean, you got to clean out your filters, all right? And if you can, flush the pipes out, all right? Because a lot of sludge and sediment and stuff all settles in the pipes and plumbing as well. So, you can clean up your whole pond and fill it up with clean, fresh water, and then plug your pump back in, and all of a sudden there's muddy, dirty crap coming out of the pipes back into the pond, right? So always remember to try to flush all the pipes out as well too. Whether it's running water back through them, or whatever you got to, even if you got to turn the pump on, and however you're set up, if you can turn the pump on and flush water through the pipes, do that. But don't forget about cleaning your filters, cleaning your pipes out before you restart everything. If you have a bead filter, it's a good idea to take it apart, take the beads out of it, wash them all down. We're starting from scratch here. We're cleaning the whole pond. Make sure your bead filters are all clean too. Now, most commonly around here in my area, a lot of clients that I deal with and I've built ponds for, and even many others, many of them have the Aqua Ultima 2 filters, bead filters. And I have a whole video here on my website that talks all about how to take them apart and clean it all out. Again, don't clean the whole pond and then leave all kinds of sludge and stinky stuff in your filters. Make sure everything's nice and clean. Your bacteria levels, all that cycling will come back, and it'll come back without any problems. I have a whole nother video here too that talks all about the bacteria, microbes, enzymes and stuff in your pond, and how to build all that up and what kind of functions they do, and a lot of helpful tips on adding different bacteria cultures and stuff. Do you need to do that? It's a long video. It's broken up into several sections, but I think it's very helpful, and I think it's a really, really great video to help you understand what's going on in your pond that you're not even aware of most of the time. Okay, so check that out, because I actually am pretty proud of that video. It's actually, I think, really, really good. So anyway, replace UV light bulbs at this time, okay? When you're cleaning, again, you don't want to clean out your whole pond and add beautiful fresh water, and then you get everything running again, and 2 weeks later it's all turning into green pea soup because your UV bulb is no good, right? So stuff like that. That's pretty much it, okay? Once we have the pond all cleaned out, and we're going to start refilling it. Now, on my ponds, when I have to clean out a pond that I have with bottom drains in, I actually take the lid off of the bottom drains, all right? I put the sump pump down in the little hole of the bottom drain, because that really, everything goes right down into that drain. Pump the water out that way. And what I do too, another little trick, is I have either a gate valve or a ball valve by my gravity-fed filter, so I can fill that filter up with water, close the valve, all right, drain my pond, and then once I'm got everything, all the water out of it, and it's kind of getting cleaned, I open those valves and I allow all that water, 100 gallons, 150 gallons, whatever it is, in those filter tanks, to just gush back to the bottom of the pond, and it's like whoosh, and all the crap comes out of those pipes and out of the bottom drains. So I can flush out all my gravity-fed pipes as well, okay? So that works really well. Kind of like the reverse of how the gravity-fed filter system works, right? It usually takes water from the pond, flows through gravity up through the filter tanks, right? And then the pump pulls it out of the filter tank. Well, this is closing the valves, filling the tank up with water, drain the pond, and then open those valves, and all that water comes gushing back into the pond, flushing out the pipes. So that helps. Once I have flushed it all out like that, Then I'll take my pump out of the bottom drain after I'm done pumping all the water out, and I'll take my shop vac, a nice heavy duty wet dry shop vac. Inside those vacuums there is a air, like a dust filter, okay? Take that out. You don't need that, obviously, when we're sucking up water and mud and sludge and crap, right? So I take that little air filter thing, dust filter, off and just leave it, out, and then suck all the sludge, rest of the stuff out of the pipes. I put the hose right down into my bottom drain, suck all the garbage out of the drain, then put my lid back on the drain, and we're good to go. All right. And the shop vac works great for pulling out any extra, debris left in the bottom of the pond that, the pumps are having a hard time pulling out. So once you get the water down to the point where the pumps are sucking air and, you're not getting more garbage out, then just use the wet, dry shop vac and suck up any extra garbage. Again, if you have rock and gravel in the bottom of the pond, be careful because you're going to suck up all the rocks and gravel into your shop vac too, right? So again, clear out an area where all the dirty water can go into and you can vacuum up what you need. All right, once you have it pretty much cleaned, you can start filling it back up. So fill it on up, keep going, fill it up. Sometimes, once I have the pond halfway full or something, I can put the fish back in. I put my air stones back into the pond. As soon as I can get the pond back up and running again, depending on the pump and the filter system you have. Like if you have a skimmer, obviously you can't start up your pumps and stuff if it's pulling through a skimmer and your pond's only half full. So at that point you need to fill the pond up all the way so the water goes into your skimmer to get to the pump. But as soon as you can put your fish back in and get things up and running again, always remember you have chlorine and chloramines in your water from city water. If your water comes from a municipal water source, you got to add dechlorinator. Okay, don't forget that, it's very important. I have videos here that are going to be really helpful and save you a lot of money by using a chemical called sodium thiosulfate. So you might want to check out that video here as well. It's basically the chemical that uses to remove the chlorine and chloramines in the water. That's really cheap. All right, so check that video out. Definitely can help you out there. And be careful of your water temperature when you put your fish back in. In the cool months, spring, late fall, if you're draining, cleaning your pond, then the water in your pond is cold. The water coming out of your tap, out of your hose that you're refilling the pond with is probably cold. So you're probably pretty close. But in the summertime, in the warmer weather, your water out of your hose, especially if it's well water, can be really cold. And the water that was in your pond, that's in your holding tank with your fish, can be a lot warmer. So we need to make sure that the water temperatures are very close. So whether you pump some water out of the holding tank, add some colder water into it, and kind of bring the water temperature down in that holding tank to acclimate the fish to it slowly, that works. Or leave your fish in a holding tank with an air pump in there, overnight. Let your pond run, recirculate, overnight for a while so that the temperature can regulate and become, close to what you have in the tank. And, then you're safer to put your fish back in, okay? Never take fish from warm water and just throw them in a pond in ice cold, cold water. They're going to go in shock. You're going to lose a lot of fish. They will die, all right? So be really careful with all that. All right, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's not rocket science. It can be a dirty, messy job, so prepare to get wet. If you have some nice high rubber boots or something, you might want to wear that. And be very careful of these pond liners when you get your pond drained out and you want to get down inside the pond to wash it out. Your pond liners can be very, very slippery, all right? I mean, like grease, very slippery. So definitely be careful on that. But all in all, that's about it. I think that kind of touches all the bases as far as, what to be aware of, what to be careful of, and how to do things. So I hope that helped you out. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please hit the like button if it helped you. Subscribe to the channel if you're into all this stuff. And there's a ton of videos here. So take some time, take a look around at all the videos here on my channel. I have a ton of stuff on just about every topic you can think of here. So hopefully you can find something that can help you out, answer some questions, and check out my website as well. I have a lot of product links there on Amazon and stuff. It's easy to find things, and some products that I definitely enjoy using and recommend using. So check it out. So thank you very much for watching. Hope it helped you, and hopefully we'll see you back soon in another video. So take care, have a great day, and enjoy your pond. Take care. Bye.